Chart your business progress. You have metrics. I love metrics. Our metrics are all about measuring. You should distinguish yourself. Entrepreneurs, while they might not be accountants, guess what? You can't run a business without loving the numbers that someone else has put together for you. You got to love those numbers. You have to look at your sales growth, cash management, profit management, customer feedback, employee feedback. And by the way, start a business. Customer feedback is more important than sales growth. Right? If you're growing rapidly, employee feedback scores are probably more important than sales. Sales are coming. I know they're coming. All right. I can't satisfy that need if I don't have really happy people around me, whether that's 1, 2, or 10, or 40 people. Okay, keep your people happy. This also means throw really good marks. Okay, make sure you remember that. Right? And you've got some metrics that are weekly, some monthly, some quarterly, some yearly. Right? So don't run your business for a week and not know what's happening, because some of those things are changing rapidly. Make sure you know. So what I want to do right now is walk you through in 2 minutes this template. Because those of you that are really serious about a business might want to fill this template in. And if you're having trouble filling it in, send me an email. Or talk to anyone else that's a business professor. Should be able to help you with this. It's a 10-step process. Okay? My point is this, is that this score booklet is extremely good. You've got to hit on the nail each of the points in this pamphlet to be eventually successful. But if you hit all these, it doesn't guarantee success. And this doesn't guarantee success either, by the way. Yep, you're good. You're fast enough. And anyone, come up, take my car, send me an email, and I'll send you the electronic version. 10-step process. We're going to walk through this quickly. I do a whole course on this, and sometimes a whole week with pharmaceutical companies on how to fill this in. This is actually a summary template. Each one of these boxes can represent whole chapters, okay, in an explanation at a product planning meeting. So let's go real quick. Number 1, initial impressions and early objective. Number 1, S, subjective. Write down your bias. Everyone comes to the table with a bias, right? So when I did a case once on Spanx, do I look like a guy that should know a lot about Spanx? Not really. Not necessarily. I'm not that overweight, I ain't a girl. But so my bias is that I don't know if it's going to be a good business. I don't understand the business. Then I objectively, objective viewpoint. Well, you know something? There's a lot of women. Obesity is a problem. Just overweight's a problem, and vanity's a big issue. You know, maybe Spanx might work. By the way, it did work. It's a $50 company. Right? By the way, I redid the case 2 years ago for their entry into male Spanx. That one made sense to me. Tom Hanks is their spokesperson today, and they've stolen $100 million of male Spanx today. A is assessment, and P is plan of action. So every time you have an idea, clean it up a little bit with some soap. That's what this whole step number 1 is all about. Number 2, do your standard SWOT analysis. Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And understand what the competitive advantage is. Your product, service, better be doing something. All right? Remember the context of your matrix of where your product sits and your relative probability of success. Remind me, the last thing I'm going to say has to do with the risk factor of starting a business. Number 3, understand the market, 5 C's, company, customers, competitors, collaborators. Then you do strategy. Step number 4 is strategy. And you can do some fancy strategy, but when you start a business, let's keep it simple. Segment, target, position. By the way, don't worry about selling to a lot of people. Okay? Later on, sell to a lot of people. I suggest sell to one person, one group. The target, define, the best, the creamiest, all right? The one that comes to the top of any list. Because if you can't sell them on it, what makes you think you can sell anybody, right? Okay, then you understand the decision-making unit, the decision-making process, and the hierarchy of effects. I'm not spending time on that right now because we're moving fast, but if you have questions, let me know. Number 5, we call it the marketing mix. Product, place, and promotion, and afterwards, the one that's most important, your pricing. Never do your pricing. Never think about pricing until you have a customer, until you have a product, until you understand the features and benefits. Then you price. One of the things I do for a living is price pharmaceutical products. And I had, for about 2 years, the enviable position of pricing the highest priced product in the pharmaceutical industry at $93,000. It's been blown apart by another product that just came out 2 months ago at $307,000. Okay? These rare diseases, expensive stuff. At any rate, anyone interested in the pharmaceutical industry, send me an email. Okay, pricing, then you do customer acquisition, customer retention, and profitability, step number 7, which is called sustaining value. Then you measure stuff in step 8. 9 and 10 basically is you redo the whole thing over again, by innovating, always changing, always getting better, always looking. You'll never reach perfection, but if you don't pursue it, you will simply not be successful. And so at the bottom here you see the process. Objectives are 1, 2, 3, strategies and tactics are 4, 5, 6, implementation 7, 8, 9, plan and work to plan number 10. I'm going to point out 2 real quick things. Plans are nothing. I'm a big believer in that. Plans are absolutely worthless, which is why it's mentioned in Mother Reader. On the other hand, I'll talk to the person, the gal or guy that wants to run that business. I'll talk to him straight up, eye to eye, and ask him, what's your planning all about? And if you can't speak to your planning process, plans are useless. So it's the planning, it's everything. And then do not quench your inspiration with your imagination. Do not become slave to a model. This is a template, and all the things that we teach you at this university and other institutions of higher learning is all about templates, forms, functions, models. Okay? Don't be a slave to the model. You're the model. You're the one that's going to break the mold. Go do it. Go make it happen, because you can. And many in this room, I bet, don't know what probability will be successful entrepreneurs. And I look forward, and Monica, I'm sure, looks forward to seeing your success out there in the marketplace. So my last thing, when we saw that graph, probability of success dropping, why is it so many people go after missionary stuff? Why do I, would you say, go after I don't suggest you go after missionary and do product in the market. That's tough. Start off with some simple stuff first, right? But the big advantage of going after risk, the riskier it is, who can tell me what the advantage of going after risk? Reward, as long as your calculus is correct and your right space, right, and everything else in the marketing plan is correct, all right, the rewards are much greater, absolutely much greater. And then you can do whatever you want to do. And I can tell you, what I like to do is talk to folks like you and hopefully have an impact somewhere down the line. Thank you very much and have a good day, folks.